U ovom snimku gledamo Ave Maria Biblija sa beleškama.
Catholic Bible channel. Today I have a solution to a problem that many Catholics face when reading their Bibles is, do I write in my Bible? Is that okay? And my personal opinion is, yes, of course it is.
Što se tiče
But if you have
pisanja u
any
Bibliji,
apprehension
vođenja
about writing in
beleški,
your
kad mi
Bible,
čitamo, zapišemo
consider buying
nešto,
a
stih,
note-taking
šta
Bible,
smo zapamtili.
which we see here.
Evo ovo
And
Sveto
today's Bible
pismo,
comes
ova
from
Biblija
Ave
ima,
Maria
znači,
Press.
određeno
It comes in the RSV2
mesto
CE, and
u
it comes
sebi,
jam-packed with
tako je
many
štampana, da
different
mi možemo
features.
da,
So
vodimo
when you get your
beleške,
Bible,
kao i sa bilo kojom
it does come in
knjigom
this
svih
sleeve.
studenta bilo kog
I think it's
fakulteta,
meant to be
neko
disposable.
stavi stikere,
Now,
ova boja,
it
ona
did happen
boja,
to keep it,
evo
but
sad čovjek
it
pokazuje
does protect the Bible quite well.
kako izgleda.
However, in the back of the sleeve, it tells you exactly what you get in this Bible. For example, some of the features include references to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, about a 3-inch margin for notes, a sewn binding, a 9-point font, which actually reads much bigger than a 9-point font in my opinion, and it is line matched, so it makes it really smooth to read. They say there's high quality paper. It's certainly better than most Bible paper, but I wouldn't describe it as anything as particularly special, but it is good paper. You get 2 ribbons and introductions to some of the major parts of the Bible, including introductions from Dr. John Bergsma, who has actually contributed heavily to the Ignatius Catholic Study Bible. We reviewed this, or previewed it, not too long ago on the channel.
Ignacijska.
And in fact, once you get your Bible open, you'll see that there's actually quite a bit of similarities between John Bergsma's introduction here and John Bergsma's introduction in the Ignatius Study Bible.
Sa leve I sa desne strane ima
So John Bergsma does an overview of the Bible here in the Ave Maria note-taking Bible. And he focuses on the various covenants of the Old Testament all the way to the new and everlasting covenant in Jesus. Those are the exact same topics that he actually covers in the Ignatius Study Bible. But this is a great introduction into covenants. Now, I've said this before, but if you don't understand the importance of covenants in the Old Testament, then the new and everlasting covenant with Jesus will make less sense. So the covenants are really important, starting from Noah and ending with Jesus. Then there's introduction specifically to the Old Testament. I did not read this introduction, but my wife did, and she said that she found it very, very useful. And there are a couple of other introductions as well. But you could see that there's a pretty good margin here for notes. We could see here that the margin notes go about 1.75 inches on the side of every page. So here are some examples of what the pages look like once you write through.
Ovo je knjiga Mojsijeva, druga, izlazak, I tu ima sa desne strane možemo da vodimo beleške. I kad čitamo, znači ovde neki pasus,
Note-taking Bible does give you a license to ask questions, write things that are interesting, or come back to revisit something in the future. There are the basic notes at the bottom of the Bible. There are the basic notes at the bottom of the Bible's translation. And in addition, if you can see here, where it says CCC, it's referencing the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which is very unique. The cover is a sewn, kind of like a cloth cover. And again, I've had mine for a few years, and I did read it all the way through, and I think it's held up fairly well, all things considered. Even the pages, they haven't, my wife's Bible's a little newer. They look pretty good side by side. Mine is a little bit more, we'll call it dirty if you want to call it that, but I mean, it was used, and that's what happens. And that's a good thing. So if you don't have a Bible yet, I actually, this is the first Bible I completed ever. And it took me a while. But one of the things that really held me back from reading my Bible was thinking, is it okay to write in your Bible? And ultimately, my opinion is yes, it is okay if you do it in a thoughtful and pragmatic way. you're not scribbling or being messy on purpose. But I told my wife, I already had 2 other Bibles, and I said, I really do want a Bible for note-taking, just to have the license and the comfort to write in it. And it kind of takes away, for me early on, it took away a hurdle. Being able to write in a Bible that is made for that purpose made it so that I can simply open, read, and ask questions along the way. So this was, in fact, my first Bible I completed. And I do think it was in part because it was a note-taking Bible. So I'll leave it there for now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me down below. But I have a question for you. Do you feel it's okay to write in your Bible? Do you write in your Bible? Is it specifically note-taking or
Kad je
just...
Paska, šta se radi sa hlebom, kako se prave parfemi, koje su ulje koristili, znači kako su pravili ulje, koje su biljke koristili da prave ulje,